In this video, we are looking some of the aspects of estimations which you can relate with product backlog. Because when we speak in general about estimation, we talk about user stories and playing planning poker and giving a number to it. But how does it look when we look at the complete product backlog? So in a product backlog, as we discussed, the majority of items are features or stories. So for that, you already know that how do we estimate, we play a planning poker and we provide a relative ranking. Now I get some questions like, do we estimate the investigation or spikes? Do we estimate the defect? And do we estimate the epics? Now when we say that this has to be taken in a similar way, a particular item has to be taken in a similar way as user stories or as the other product backlog item, we should also keep in mind a good product backlog should be estimated. So even we need to put an estimate for defect, a spike. If you can do a good level of estimate on a spike, do it. Else put a time box estimate for it. And epic should be also estimated. You may have a higher range or the inaccuracy may be higher in case of epics, but all product backlog items has to be estimated. If product owner says to you that I need a user documentation, a user manual, yes, you need to estimate the user manual work also because it's a part of product backlog item. Defect also needs to be estimated in a similar way. Now, we spoke about that there are two levels of estimation. When we talk about story points, ideal days, we are talking about product backlog. And during a sprint planning meeting, we pick some of the product backlog items for our upcoming sprint. And for these product backlog items, we prepare a detailed task list and we estimate that particular detailed task list in ideal hours. So here the unit was story point, but for example we selected the 4 items A, B, C, D, and they were having story point estimate like 2, 3, 5, 8. We will again break these stories and will estimate them in engineering activities and then put an hours against it. While we are estimating here, we don't have to get influenced by these story points because this estimation was done in order to give a complete direction for our release backlog or product backlog. And this estimation is getting done for your sprint related activities. So you have a sprint box and this estimate you are doing for that particular sprint time box. Now for a given activity, for example activity D, you may estimate less number of hours than activity C, which is having less number of story points. It can happen. It can happen especially when either D was partially done in a previous iteration or you have some reusability benefit which you could not which is giving you an opportunity to finish D faster. So though the D has a bigger relative size, when we say is relative sizing than C, but now since you are done with various development, you can finish it faster. So you can have a lower level of hour estimate for the given story. So point we should keep in mind that these two estimations are at different scale and the goal is also different. This helps us in a daily level planning, iteration planning, and this will be at a release level. Now when we are done with our iteration, when we are done with our sprint, we relook and we see this at how many story point work we have done. So we can say that we start picking stories and we have an initial estimate in story points, then we do work in hours for a given sprint duration, but when we re-look back and monitor our release level progress, then we again convert the done work into the same measurement, which is story point. So a long level planning or a 3-4 months level planning will always happen in a story point level estimate.